Hello everyone, Smart Flopsy Shepherd once again, and welcome to my top 15 Oh No More Lemmings levels. To make this list, I pitched a question to the Lemming community and collected data about this over the last couple of months, and I have now compiled a top 15 list of Oh No More Lemmings levels. So again, this is like from data compiled from the Lemmings community at lemmingsforums.net and my own personal opinion as well. So you might have levels that are difficult to you but and might not be on this list. If so, the comment sections below, please let us know what you think, and when selecting this list, we basically did it from a point of view as if you were playing it on the original engines back in the day, like the Amiga version, the Windows 95 version, and the PlayStation 1 version, especially that version. That version is horrendously hard. So without further ado, let's get on. Let's jump straight on to number 15. And to start this list off, we have Dolly Dimple. This is probably the first really hard level you'd bump into on Oh No More Lemmings, as it's only crazy level 2. As you know, Oh No More Lemmings has a very easy tame rank, and then all of a sudden when you get to the crazy rank, things ramp up a hell of a lot. So this level's got a little bit of an unorthodox solution, so catches a lot of people off guard. So that's why it only just scrapes number 15 in this list, I'd say. Following the trend though, there tends to be a lot of earlier levels in this list than later levels. So it is a bit of an unusual list, and there we go. Without further ado, on to number 14. Number 14 on this list is Across the Gap, which is crazy level 16. And I think what captures people the most on this level is it's a very, very hard 100% solution level. So this is probably the most common solution everyone comes up with. And it's not actually that difficult, but it's probably one of those levels that everybody remembers, and it's difficult. And it's one of those that really bangs home the importance of crowd control without blockers. So that's number 14 on the list, and we're going to go on to number 13 now. Number 13 on this list is Look Before You Leap, which is Havoc level 20, the very last level of the game. A lot of people will be thinking, yeah, this is not very hard in Neo-Lemmings, but if you played this on the original engines, the bomber timing is insane on this level. So it's just one of those where you think, oh, this is an easy level, but then once you get into it, it really isn't. You really need to make every skill count as well, because even though in this replay I say 51 lemmings, it was actually with pixel perfect bomber timing, because there's no timed bombers on Neo-Lemmings. But can you imagine doing that with a countdown on every single bomber assignment? So something important to point out in this list is I'm using the Neo-Lemmings engine to recite these replays to you. So the exact bombers are making these levels look easier than they actually are. But remember, when you're playing this on the original Amiga, Win95 or PlayStation 1, there'll be a 5-second countdown timer on every single assignment with the bombers on this level. So with that being said, on to number 12. Number 12 is introducing Super Lemming, and to simulate this one the best, I've actually left the fast forward feature on to simulate exactly how fast this will be going, but I'm not sure if this is actually what's actually the speed this will be going at if you were playing this on the Amiga version. Not many people know about this level because this was one of the levels that was controversially removed from the Windows 95 version of Lemmings, the PlayStation 1 version, because they were unable to simulate the speed on the net. Lazy design choice, I know, but this level is literally at speed the whole way on the Amiga version, so I feel this level deserves to make the list for this reason. Personally speaking, I put it lower in the list because it's not a hard level, it's just all about the execution of it. The hardest part of this level, as I say, is at the end here. So, with that being said, on to number 11. Number 11 on this list is Lemming Rhythms, which is Wild Level 3. This level is on the list personally because I think the builder assignments on this level are absolutely pixel perfect. Because it's very important that the worker lemming doesn't turn around. You probably could get away with him turning around once or twice, but it's not really ideal if he keeps turning around. I personally struggle with this one a lot on the PlayStation 1 version of my playthrough, so I feel like this one deserves to be in the list for this reason. Also, this level got mentioned a few times by other forum users, so it's not just me. And one of the hardest things was crowd controlling these lemmings. Now, blockers don't really behave the same way on. Blockers and diggers don't really behave the same way on the Windows 95 or the PlayStation 1 version, I feel, so this level would have been actually a lot more difficult to control on that version. So with that being said, on to number 10. Number 10 on the list is Rocky 6, which is Crazy Level 10. And this level, I feel, is absolutely ridiculous to be Crazy Level 10 because this level is just so hard and so precise. There's literally only one solution to this level, and this is what it is. I'm sure someone's probably going to come forward and say there's another solution to this level, but I've never seen another solution to this level. So basically, it's exactly how you see it, and that builder has to be put there to get over that obstacle there, and it's just a really tough level to be in the crazy rank, I feel. So that's the main reason why it's on number 10 on this list, because a lot of people will be struggling with this level, and a lot of people would have seen this level as well. So another reason why I feel like it deserves to be on this list. And the time limit as well. Oh my god, man! I know I've got plenty of time to spare, but I'm literally doing these pixel perfect on Neo Lemmings. So these are just these are very well, these are like the tight. This is like the quickest time you could probably do the level in. So with that being said, on to number 9. Level number 9 on the list is Creature Discomforts, which is Havoc level 7. So it's going to be quite hard to show off this replay, but I'll try and show as much as I can. So I get 2 climbers going up this side, and they're going to bomb, and then one's going to build off of that. And this is like a bit of a shortcut solution as well. So I mean, if you try going along the bottom here, these platforms are just so badly placed that they will screw your builder timing all the time without fail. And this side's actually very simplified by just making them all climbers, which is why it's good that they included 10 climbers in the skill set. But yeah, It's a hard Havoc level because you've got limited skills and you've got 2 trapdoors to deal with, so that's why I feel like it deserves to be on the list. So with that being said, we'll go on to number 8. Number 8 on this list is Lemmings in a Situation, which is Havoc level 18. This is the 3rd level from the end of the pack, so at least it's actually in the list, so that's a good sign. So this level is hard because I'd say it's like there's just so many builders, but you've got to use them so perfectly, otherwise this level just goes south so quickly. So the way I do this level is I build this section and I build this section, and I make sure this lemming wriggles through just as he's doing it, and then this guy gets trapped in this little section here, and that way I can keep him for later for when I need him. Meanwhile, this guy's going to build backwards, so these lemmings can actually get through when this is dug out. The biggest obstacle on this level, I think, is traversing this bit. I think once you get to this bit, it's a piece of cake. Once you figure out you need to dig this column out. But yeah, revisiting this level, I always had 1 digger left over, so I didn't even need to use the bomber at the end, which kind of took away the most annoying part of this level, I felt, which was timing the bomber correctly. From what I understand, you need to assign a bomber on the far right of this crowd, and then it'll bomb in the perfect place. But since it's Neo Lemmings, I can't really test that theory. So this second lemming's needed because this guy needs to block and this guy needs to finish the job. So I use a build. I use a digger there to free the crowd, but theoretically you would probably only have a bomber left to do that. I'm guessing because of Neo Lemmings that somehow I've managed to negate a digger from the solution somewhere. But yeah, that's still a really hard level. So with that being said, on to number 7. Number 7 is Where Lemmings Dare, which is Havoc level 17. So yet again, around the last 5 levels of Havoc, where it needs to be. And this level is quite hard because you've got to get around these lizard traps. And it's annoying because they're just so perfect. They're just so perfectly placed here. But you can lose 2 lemmings on this level, but you can't lose any to the lizard traps because you need to actually save losing a lemming for later. But although in this solution I managed to save this worker lemming as well, but theoretically speaking you shouldn't be saving him, and I'll show why at the end. But yeah, this is a very hard level because you only got 2 minutes to do it, and it's a very intimidating level as well. Now the reason why you can't go across the top bottom here is because there's a ton of vine traps here, which is what this lemming would ordinarily walk into, but due to the placement of the traps he's able to go into the exit as well as the lemmings. If he had landed just a pixel left of the exit, it would have been fine because he was not meant to save anyway, but I managed to save him as well, so that's all good. But anyway, that's a very hard level, and it's very deserving of being at Havoc 17. So, with that being said, we're going on to number 6. Number 6 is Havoc 16, Scaling the Heights. So again, like the level before the previous one. But ironically, our Havoc 16 is harder than Havoc 17, and Havoc 17 is harder than Havoc 18. So, at least according to this countdown, anyway. So the biggest thing you've got to do is you've got to put a blocker here. You can't let the lemmings go all the way down to the bottom here because they can't. Because they won't be able to get out again. If you're down here, it's pretty much game over, I'd say. So you need to put a blocker here and actually build against the blocker to actually get them to walk up here. Because once you've got them to walk up here, that's half the battle. and then you got to get the miner. You got to use the miners just right so you can make a zigzag diagonal tunnel to get them up to this stage here. And I think working this part out is probably half the battle this level. Once you've worked this bit out, the rest of the level's a piece of cake. And the save requirement's really lenient, so there are harder levels out there. This is probably a really manic puzzle. And again, right at the previous level, it's only 2 minutes on the clock. So with that being said, on to number 5. Number 5 is Keep On Trucking, which is crazy level 8. A lot of people might disagree with the positioning of this, but I always found this level to be a really tough level due to the shape of the terrain at the end of the level, and it makes it super hard in the Amiga, PlayStation 1 and the Windows 95 ports. I feel because execution is absolutely pixel perfect on this sometimes, especially if you're going through this route at the end that I do. And going through this crystal structure can be quite daunting. So yeah, something is very easy to pull off in Neo Lemmings, but not easy to pull off in other ports. But yeah, it's crazy level 8, and I feel like it deserves to be on this list purely because it's probably one of the biggest roadblock levels, I think. It's quite. I do consider this a roadblock level. I'm sure other people have been caught out by this level, but yeah. With that being said, on to number 4. Number 4 is Havoc 19. Looks a bit nippy out there. This level is just this level kind of follows the same trend as Scaling the Heights, which was number 6. But I think it's I personally think it's a little bit more tricky than Scaling the Heights, because you have to manipulate the shape of the terrain a bit more. So it's less relying on the miners, more relying on your digging and bashing skills. But you get plenty of skills, so it's very generous in that respect. As you can see, I get loads of skills left over when I do this, but you can imagine doing this on the other ports where it'll be a lot more precision based, and a wrong assignment could end up screwing up the level for you. And given that time limit as well. And I think another thing that's particularly nasty about this level is the fact that you've got to dig at the end to get into the X. But yeah, I'd say that's probably the hardest level in all. I'd probably say that's the hardest level at the end of the game anyway, since all of them have made this list and they've now been all put out there. So that, with that being said, on to number 3. Number 3 is Temple of Love, which is wicked level 10. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. This is probably a lot of people would probably say Lemmings' situation is harder than this one, but personally I think Temple of Love is harder. And the Lemmings community would mention this level a lot more than Lemmings in the situation, so that's a reason why it's so much higher on the list, I'd say. And I think it's all down to the fact of how you separate out a worker lemming on this level that separates it from the rest. It's because you have to send the climber up here and get it to dig down. Whereas with lemmings in this situation, separating out a worker lemming was a lot easier, I felt. But this level, oh my god, very hard for a wicked level. This could have easily been a Havoc level. I had one builder left over, but it's only because the builder was so perfect that I was actually able to save a builder. But yeah, not many skills to spare in that level. And before I look at the top two, I'm going to go through some honourable mentions. My first honourable mention is And Now the End is Near. This level is probably the other roadblock on Crazy, I'd say. Other than the ones that have already been mentioned in this list. Probably the only other one that probably needs mentioning. And yeah, it's all about positioning the builder perfectly. And if you even had the builder 1 pixel too high on the Win95 version or the PlayStation 1 version, it wouldn't even let you bash. So how's that for stupid precision for you? So yeah, that's my first honourable mention. On to the next. My second honourable mention is Wicked 18, lots more where they came from. The reason why this made the list is I felt it's because the very odd shape of the terrain. It's not particularly ideal, and it's absolutely hazardous for people who on the original Lemmings engines. For those who tried the unfortunacy of going underneath, there's actually one trap in the middle of it, which can be quite hazardous. So I'm going to show you the proper solution of going over the top, because the miners are actually there for a reason, I feel. There's actually enough miners to get this, get over the top of this, no problem. But yeah, again, this is down to NeoLemmix. The builders would not be so precise if it wasn't for NeoLemmix, so remember that when you see the 12 builders remaining. But other than that, I felt like this level needed an honourable mention because it's probably one of those where people struggle with it, or they just found a crafty bottom route. Anyway, on to my next honourable mention. My third honourable mention is Lemming Tomato Ketchup Facility, which is Wicked Level 1. A lot of people on the forums and the topic, when polled, actually mentioned this level explicitly, so I felt like it was worth a mention. And I think it's just basically down to the timed bombers on the one-way wall that pretty much, you know, clinches it for everybody. Because the bottom crowd's no problem at all if you know that mining into steel would actually turn them around. It's just the top crowd that's really annoying. And I used to have a solution where I'd dig down into this in such a way that Lemming would not climb up the right side, would climb up the left side and bash the one-way wall. And that's how I found a use for the basher in this level. Anyway, with that being said, on to my next honourable mention. My fourth honourable mention is It's All a Matter of Timing, which is Havoc level 12. Yes, it's a builder-only puzzle, but it's a decent builder-only puzzle, and it can be quite intimidating. I know I was always put off by this level when I saw the fact that you can only use builders. I believe in the PlayStation 1 and Windows 95 version, you're given 2 additional builders as well, so you're actually given 14, I believe. But yeah, nice level. It's a very nice puzzle, and I felt like it deserved a mention because it's one of those levels that I always personally struggled with, and I felt like I couldn't leave it off this list. And now I'm going to go on to my last honourable mention, which is probably more of a wild card entry. My last honourable mention, which is my wildcard entry, is Onward and Upward, which is Wild level 13. I could not do a top 15 Oh No More levels list and not mention this level. It is just a no-no whatsoever. You just cannot not mention this level. And I'm going to explain why. Because in the recent Lemmings Redux pack that was made, someone decided to remove the time limit from this level. And I felt that the time limit actually adds a lot of difficulty to this level, and for a very good reason. So I felt like it was justified that I should show this level being played with a time limit, as well as showing why it's difficult. Because this bit with the blocker and the reverse miner and the crowd control with the blocker here is actually a very, very well used technique in this level. And the crowd was released in such a way such I did not have a massive clump of lemmings at the front of the crowd. Well, so as you can see, this guy at the back here is going to be the last guy in. And look how tight the time is. You literally could not get any closer than that. You've probably beat this time in less time. You've probably beat this level in less time than I did, but 5 seconds left. That's actually a decent time. So that's the end of my honourable mentions. Back to the countdown, and I shall be showing number 2. Number 2 on this list. It was really close between this and number 1, but I felt like this should get number 2 purely because this is a great solution, but at the same time, it's not too hard once you get going on it. Now, what really annoyed me with this level on the PlayStation 1 version was the fact that it was nearly impossible to get the bloody miner facing left. Unless you did a certain circumstance, and plus there was this miner glitch where miners would go splat even if you were high enough. But luckily I avoided that on this level. The climber is very useful on this level actually, because it actually delays the lemming turning around that much more. A very good use of blockers on this level as well to delay to keep it in place until the miner gets it, mines it back in. So once you get the first part done, the second part's not too bad. But again, it's just execution at the end of the day. You could mess up this. You could absolutely mess up this bit here and have to do that whole bit, first part of the level again. So for that reason, I felt like this level deserved a high entry on the list. While it's a very good level, very good 100% level that actually uses a blocker, but I felt like number 1 was very deserving and is actually a little bit hard in this level. So here it is. And number 1 on this list is the race against Cliches, or the race against Cliches. I'm not sure what pronunciation it's supposed to be. I'm pretty sure it's probably Cliches, but I'll leave that up to you lot to decide. So this level is, you've got to send 2 lemmings on the top because they haven't got the ability to be able to survive these drops here. Well, they've got the ability to survive a few drops, but they haven't got the ability to survive all of them. So 2 lemmings have to go along the top, and plus they also have to build at the end here for these other lemmings here. So these 18 lemmings are all off for a ride across the all off for a race along here, and this lemming's about to get given a climber. So yeah, very nice level here, and it was probably one of the last levels I solved in the pack. Very hard level, very hard to time. If you get one little thing wrong, it's all the way back to the start. You literally have to release these guys early enough such that they get to the end, because it's a very long way for travel, and you've only got a 3-minute time limit. A lot of levels in this pack tended to have a 3-minute time limit, so the creators were really punishing you on this game. And you had to dig on this one, not on that one, because that's actually an unsurvivable drop for non-floater lemmings. So again, if you dug on the wrong pillar, that's it, the whole level has to be started again. So very execution, very annoying type level, and I felt like it was worthy of the number 1 spot due to the significant amount of work required compared to number 2. So there we have it, that's our top 15 Oh No More Lemmings levels. If you disagree with this list, please put it in the comments below. And thanks very much for watching, everybody. See you next time.